Hi, I'm Rachael Whitefield, certified life coach, and with me is Jaki Black, our resident butterfly year babe. Thank you for joining us for another fabulous episode of Whiskey Bent
Spellbound with Black.
and Whitefield.
All right, what are we drinking today, Rach?
Oh, I am so glad you asked, Jaki. So we are nothing if not smart with our money this year on the podcast, fingers crossed. And we're still drinking our current personal favorites while we empty our individual whiskey reserves. So I am drinking, like, once again, Uncle Nearest 1856 premium whiskey, female women-owned distillery, very diverse company. That's what I am pouring in my cup today. What about you?
Girlfriend, you are not wrong when you say we need to empty out our whiskey stores. This is a different brand that I've drank on the podcast yet. I'm drinking Screwball peanut butter whiskey. This is my second bottle. I got a little bottle of theirs just to try it, and I super enjoy it. It is so good with chocolate bitter. Tastes a little bit like a peanut butter cups, so
Yeah.
can be dangerous.
Ooh, and very quick before I pour my whiskey, our show wouldn't be our show without our ice molds.
Ice molds.
Hey. Ooh. Oh, I just have really big squares. Just a giant square. One takes up my entire cup. But I have that fancy sprinkles, like diamond white. So it's just like white glitter. And so they're just like, this has got to be like, what, inch and a half? It's like 2 inches by 2 inches cube. So it's just a big, it is literally a large ice cube.
It
So,
is like a classic whiskey cube.
yeah, just
Really.
one'll do. One'll do,
With
yeah.
diamond
White. So I'm very excited. Actually, I went to my nail program and the cosmetology program. There actually was a girl named Diamond White.
That was her first and last name?
Yeah, White was her
Oh
married
my
name.
gosh.
Yep.
That is so cool. Shout out Diamond. How you doing,
Diamond
girlfriend?
White. Looking
Ooh,
good.
wow.
It's always
What
a
is yours?
brilliant smell on a recording day. Oh, and this, because I just feathered that with that glitter in. It's right on the top of that ice malt.
Yeah.
So it's just sparkling up my drink for our visual YouTube watchers. Oh,
I got mine in my classic clog. What is this? What are these bones called? You said this earlier.
metacarpals. Your
My metacarpal goblet.
You're just finger bones.
Classic
Can I get you
metacarpal goblet. And then I used
the
peridot in mine this week.
Yes, I made you such a glitter convert.
You really have, to the point where I am 100%. I have a two 3 packs in my fancy sprinkles cart right now. So I'm waiting to check out just in case, but
We're being
it's
smart.
yeah.
I think, okay, we're going to talk. Okay. On the show today.
Oh yeah,
On the show today, we are talking about what we're leaving behind in 2023, what we're not taking with us into 2024, because this is January, the time of this recording. It's like not even 2 weeks into the new year. So we're still sticking. I don't even like calling them resolutions, but we're keeping strong to our goals, as we're not going out buying a fresh bottle of whiskey. We're going through what we have stockpiled at our homes for this show. Basically, until we get sponsored, we got to buy our own whiskey on the show. So, but we're just talking about what we're bringing into the new year and what we're not. And so, like, we're leaving the anxieties behind. What we're having there.
We talked a lot about like how we wanted to change. We talked a lot about what our goals were. And like there's a lot of goals that we have, and we can't take in old habits in order to accomplish these goals. So we're just talking about everything, those habits, those old mindsets. Basically, we're talking about that part of our brain, that part of our personality that we are just forget about it.
Forget about it. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think you should
oh
start,
yeah,
but
I'm gonna
let's
have.
clinkies first.
Let's have a clinkies. Forgive me. Oh, it's been a long day at work.
When I take in that, when I smell this screwball, it has like it's sweet, like on the palate.
Is it peanut forward or is it whiskey forward? Or is it a good blend?
Uh, Honestly, it's very peanut buttery, very, very peanut buttery, and I just love it.
Because I actually bought over the holidays, let me see, screwball eggnog. And then I was also gifted a bottle.
Oh my God.
Oh
So
my
you had
God.
2 bottles
I have an
of
open bottle in the fridge right now, and then I have like another one up in my at my like liquor cabinet. So
oh,
yeah, hopefully it keeps. It's not open. I don't refrigerate it's liquor, so I think it'll be okay.
well,
Fingers
here's the
crossed.
hope. You're
Here's,
gonna
here's
have a
hoping.
swig up when you report back. When you
Next
report
Christmas.
back.
What we'll open it when we talk about our 2024 Rachel and Jackie, because we've been talking about those girls, those women on the
I
podcast
think
for a while.
yeah, when we get to December 2024, I think we should get something really nice. You know what I'm saying? Like a Blanton's or, something like that. Something because I feel it in my gut. Those goals are we've already accomplished them. We just have to get there at this point. So I think we should get something really nice.
We're gonna get something top shelf. It was so funny. My mind automatically goes because I'm like champagne for everyone. I was like, you said get something really nice. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna buy a bottle of Vouv. Let's get champagne.
I
There's room
love
for both.
There
Yeah.
is room for both, and I love a good champs. Don't get
When
me
I
wrong.
when I moved into my new apartment, I bought myself a bottle of Vouv, and I was like, this is for moving day.
Hell yeah.
Hell
Well, let's start. What are you leaving behind
yeah.
in 2024, Rach?
uh what are we leaving behind? We're not taking into 2024. What are we leaving behind in 2023?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
what are we leaving it behind?
Yeah. So I always say like since starting this podcast, it's helped me to take a moment and reflect on things in my life. Obviously I don't leave the house a lot, so I gotta like turn internally to create content for myself because I just don't interact with a lot of people.
Same.
So it's great for this podcast has been great for a moment of like self-reflection for myself.
Mhm.
And I know we talk a lot about you and the things that you're going through, but I don't want our listeners to think that I'm not self-reflecting as well in these quiet moments as that we move on to. So something that I have been really struggling with is the anxiety that I've had in my day job at work. And I have had it since day one. And I started on that contract September 2022. So not
Mhm.
only did I have it in 2022 when I was just brand new on this job, but also all of 2023. And I had it a few days into the new year, but I'm going to share a story to be like, we're not doing that anymore. No, no, no. So of course, I'm pushing like 18 months in this position. So, and pretty much every single day and on weekends, every single day for nearly 18 months, I have had anxiety about work. They're going to fire me. Like I'm not good enough. Can you believe it? This is coming out of the mouth of Rachel Whitefield. Um,
It's surprising. Like if not to me, it's not surprising because you verbalized it to me, but like in general, if you don't talk to you every day,
mhm.
it would be very, very surprising. Like there's no way,
Yeah.
but
I have
yeah,
a
we
lot of
all have these.
And I always say, like, when I'm a very visual person, so when I picture me as a human being, I picture myself as like a diamond, and then it's a very multifaceted, and it's like what is being reflected is like where is the light shining in that is reflecting. So it's like in my personal business, I am a badass. I am very strong and confident and can talk about things really well in my own business, my own personal business. However, um, this is not that. And I felt like I never really got my sea legs about it. So taking it back to the front, I had a whole career change from the beauty industry to tech. And then I had, you know, been kind of floundering around and with this startup marketing position. And then I had a contact that worked on this NASA contract for the web modernization team. And they said, we need a communications person bad. Everyone is so busy building the new website. We need this person to just communicate to the users, to the people who will be making the content, what the team is coming out with and making learning resources and things for them. And keep in mind, I work for myself since I was like 25,
Right.
or cocktailing before that. So it's like, I've never been in a corporate position ever. I don't know the corporate speak. I don't know anything about this. And this is like a big deal to me. This is like what I quit the beauty industry for. This is it. This is the job that pays well. I have benefits. I've got a 401k. I've got vacation. I'm not strapped to my desk every day. It's very exciting. This is it. And so, I didn't even really interview for this job. They needed someone so badly. Then, I had this former coworker that gave them my name and I submitted a portfolio of my work, but there was no interview process. I submitted a portfolio. They needed someone so badly and they didn't have time to interview all these people. So then I submitted a portfolio and then I got an offer letter. I know that's not usually it's very unusual.
Not normal.
It's not normal, but I was like, and then I got this offer letter with more money than I had ever made ever in my life. All my dreams are coming true. Holy shit. Am I worthy of it? There's a lot on the line. Also,
Impostor syndrome much?
yeah. Yeah. And I didn't want to have my colleague look bad. Because she her opinion held a lot of weight, and I don't have a college degree. And I think this is what triggered me, was that I have gone to the University of Denver for a program. When you kind of get tricky on the verbiage on your resume and your portfolio. However, I do not have a college degree.
Right.
And that was picked up on my resume and portfolio by the person who was kind of vetting me if I could do this job. And so she asks my friend and coworker, saying, does she have a college degree? She says, I'm not quite sure. She kind of didn't want to lie, but she had my back about not just selling me out that I did it. And then she just asks, can she do this job? And my friend had my back and she says, yes, she can.
Yeah, absolutely.
So great. But they had created this position for this communication specialist. I don't have a communications background. I am good at writing and talking for the most part. And of course, you're just so eager and you're like, of course I can do that. Ha. Again, I'm not saying my friend got me this job. In retrospect, I was like, she might have got my foot in the door. My portfolio could speak for itself, as I kind of have to calm my own anxieties about it. So I know maybe this person that hired me wasn't exactly super excited about me not having a formal education. However, I came highly recommended. I do have a tech background. I can speak the language. I walk that line of both worlds. And since this was a new position, there's no one to show me how to do my job. No one has done it before. And there is outlines in the job description of what they want. And they're kind of like, just go do it. There's no manual of who to talk to at these centers. I don't have any contact information. I was like, and they're like, okay, tell us what you're going to do for us. I was like, but you tell me what you need. Like, well, we need someone to communicate. How are you going to do that? I was like,
that means they want you to write the SOP.
Yeah. And to me, I have no idea what's going on. It is just a fire hose of information coming at me. And I am really looking for reassurance to be like, is this okay? And they're like, is it? Like, is it? I don't know. So it was just really overwhelming. And I felt so out of my depth, which I was. And this train on this web modernization program was going so fast. And I'm learning as I'm going. So of course we're making missteps and okay, that's not the way we do it. Okay, well, I didn't know that, And so, and there's differences between civil servants and contractors, and you can't exactly tell a contractor what to do. You can just like suggest what you would like them to do.
Right.
and then a lot of this work on this project is like unfunded. So people are like, well, we don't have a lot of time for it. So I was like, I can't make these content creators do this stuff. I can tell them about it, but I physically cannot make them do it. And is that on my fault? Do I look bad on that? Because I'm not communicating the message well enough. So it was just every single day I'm learning more, but there's so much information in my mind buckets. I was like, I don't even know where to put this. I have nowhere to put this information.
It
So
goes
it kind
down
of
the
falls out.
hallway in your mind castle.
Yeah.
Goes down there.
Yeah. And so once you kind of learn, okay, I now I have a place to put that information. Like I'm getting there.
Right.
But I'm a kind of person who really wants to like not sit back, but kind of view how I fit in a situation first and kind of absorb and then step forward. But, they wanted me to be more proactive and speak up more. But then I was afraid of like speaking out of turn, or I didn't know what I was talking about because I'm a new person on this team. So it's just, I never felt the way I feel in my personal business is never how I felt in my day job. Like those are two very different people. And I don't like day job Rachel. She's sweet and very nice and demure, but it's like she's not this badass taking all the air out of the room when she, in a good way, when she talks.
Right.
That's
You
okay.
just feel that anxiety, that
All the
crazy
time.
high anxiety. And it sounds like a lot of imposter syndrome.
Yes. And so I have done a lot of work on the imposter syndrome part of it. Like, hey, they didn't even need to interview me. Like, maybe they did need someone so quickly, but because my name had been, because again, I had this female coworker who was like, she was putting my names in those rooms before I ever stepped into them. That team knew about me and they're like, oh, we finally get to meet you. Excellent. This is what we're here for.
Right.
And then it was like, oh my gosh, like they just needed someone so quickly. They just hired anybody. I was like, well, I don't think they would hire just anybody for this. And my like again, she might have got my foot in the door, but my portfolio,
Yeah.
like got me the job. I got myself that job, you know. And so that is what kind of I had to like find a new way to speak to myself about it and to say no, like she didn't get you the job, you got yourself the job. Like they wanted you, like they sought you out.
She got you the opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got yourself the job.
And then and so now as and I'm not an anxious person, I'm only anxious about this one aspect of my job, of the job. I'm anxious about my job all the time. They're going to fire me. They're going to I'm not doing good enough. Like, oh no. And a little every day you do a little better. You want to learn a bit better, like taking better notes. You're going to find systems that work for you. I found workflows that work for me, but also it's, as people transition out of the contract, somehow in 18 months, I've become a senior member of the team.
How about that?
How did it happen? I don't know. They just haven't fired me yet. But we're getting like new people on. It's up to us to train them or kind of and I was like, ooh, okay, let me take you under my wing that from what I didn't have. So I could be a better mentor for them to answer their questions, to be a safe harbor when they ask questions, be like, that's okay. You can ask me in a side chat. I'm here. So you don't have to feel the way I felt, which is how I live my life in all aspects of it. But this happened. This is time of recording the 10th of January. So this happened last week as we first came back on the new year.
Okay.
And this is what I was like, we are putting this shit to bed. I don't have time for work anxiety, not a moment longer. And I am so glad that this happened to me. And so we have a new project manager support. So assistant to the project manager, assistant project manager, whatever it is. And she's been a project manager on a few different projects in the past. However, she does not have a tech background. She has a project management background. So I have no doubt that she is very good at her job. She is new on the contract. So yes, she has a lot of questions. And I said to her, like, if you're afraid to ask a question, ask it to me. This is a safe space. And I had to figure out how to when we're fixing a bug in the system, we have to recreate the bug so we know how to work it out to be like, I can recreate it. Now I can go dig about it. There was a problem on our mailing list, but I'm a list owner. So this bug I could not see, nor could I recreate because it wasn't happening for me because it took me straight to the list manager. So I said, hey, can we walk through this together? Can you kind of recreate this bug and I can see what's going on? So then I know how to go forward with it. She says, absolutely. Right. Sharing your screen, going through the things, we figure out the problems. Okay, great. I then contact it's like the enterprise service desk. It's like the IT help for the company.
Yeah, IT people.
IT people to say, hey, this is a bug. This is not something we manage. How can we get this bug out of here? And they say, yada, yada, yada. So they come back with a list of steps that she has to do to re-verify her email address that this form will now work for her. So we share screens and she goes and she does the entire list of the steps and it works. But to get to the new screen that would work, she had to refresh her web page. She had to refresh her browser. And again, not everyone who knows is in tech,
and she's not in tech. She has no tech background.
No. However,
she's a project manager, very relatable.
She's a project manager on the NASA web modernization project. So I'm going to put that into perspective. She's a project manager. She uses her computer every day. And she's a project manager assistant for the NASA web modernization team. So I say, hey, refresh your page. And she says, how do I do that? I'm going to repeat that for the people in the back. She asked, how do I refresh my browser page? So then I was like, hey, you see that little home button? Then I was going to say, hey, it's immediately that circle to the left of it. But she just hit the home button and then we had to go find the link again and go through it and refresh the page. So all she had to do was hit enter on the web, on the URL. So all she had to go up in the browser and just hit enter again. So at that point, this is a person who has been brought on to manage the devs, the developers, the web content producers, all of us. And the fact that she didn't know how to refresh her browser, I was like, you know what? I am no longer afraid of getting fired. No. I am no longer afraid that I am shitty at my job because in that moment, I had such clarity that I was so good at my job and that she was coming to me for clarifying answers. And I was like, she's a great project manager and no one's perfect. And this, not that she had to be, but it was just more of like, it was such a simple thing that I was like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about my work performance anymore. I know that I do a good job and I know that and again, what I'm nervous about or anxious about on the inside of me, people don't have that feeling when they see my work submitted. So it's like, they don't know that I'm struggling. They just was like, okay, this is another great blog. This is another great communications post. This is blah, blah, blah. So at that moment, I was like, I am not going to waste one more second worrying. I'm doing just fine. And just fine is great for now. And now that I might get those like anxiety feelings like creeping in again, or there's like something new I don't know how to do. I was like, oh, I just, but then it's like, nope, I know how to refresh my browser page and I'm not going to worry about it a second longer. So I was very glad that she could have the vulnerability to be like, how do I do that? And that also it was like, I'm fine. I'm good.
There's zero reason for you to be stressed out about your job. Zero.
I'm not doing it anymore. That shit is being left behind.
Thank
goodness. I'm so thankful for that perspective. And I'm so thankful it happened when it happened because honestly, it was eating me alive. like, I know this job is so cool and what I get to do is so amazing. And the content I get to write and the people I get to meet is exceptional. And
Yeah.
and it's like, I'm missing the forest through the trees. And it's like, I don't want to just tell myself that like my job is cool. I really want to believe that my job is cool and that I love my job. And like, I was like, yeah, we're going to transition into that now. We're going to do that.
There you go. The
Yeah.
amount of messages that you've sent me, like, I don't know, they're probably going to fire me. There's no way I could ever believe that,
You
first and
really see me
foremost.
like at the high of the highs. I'm like, oh my God, it's so great. And it's like it
Yeah.
is such this ebb and flow all the time. It's like, oh, I feel really good. And then it's like, oh my God, what's happening? It's like, oh, I feel really good. It's like, oh my God, what's happening? So it's just it's such a big agency, such a big organization. There's a lot of moving parts. It's hard to keep it straight. And it's like, okay, I remember when I first started and I was like, I can't wait till I have been here a year and I'm going to be so much better and I'm going to feel so much more confident in my job.
And then you weren't.
At a year, I felt the exact same, not the exact same, but the same feelings were kind of there of just like this
Yeah.
anxiety. I still don't know anything. I'm
Yep.
struggling. Everyone can see it. No, I work from
That's
home. No one can see it. And when I submit things at the deadline, it's like, all right, thanks for submitting this. Like no
so
one's really
relatable.
thinking, I have to remind myself, no one's really spending that much time thinking about me. I'm thinking about me because I'm like living in my own like prison of a mind sometimes, but
Yep.
they're worried about their own stuff and maybe their own inadequacies or what needs to get fixed by this deadline or what have you. So it's like, I don't think that people think I'm so shitty at my job.
You
And
shouldn't either, because
yeah.
you're right. They're not in the same mindset that you are about the work that you're doing. You just have like this anxiety, this little t- like tinge of self-doubt
Hmm.
that like you would let get to you. And I'm so glad that you've got that perspective,
Hmm.
because there's zero chance of you getting fired for not doing a good job. First and foremost, they didn't know what a good job was. They couldn't tell you that. You just told me that. They could not tell you how
Yeah.
to do a good job. They said, here's your job. Go tell us what a good job is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd never been in an environment like that. I was like, no, but you tell me what to do. And they're like, no, we hired you as this expert. I was like, okay. Like
You're like, you do.
I was okay. So I think, as I'm kind of waiting to see where I fit in an environment. So I didn't really take the horse by the reins as, so to speak. But also it's like you're in a room with a lot of brilliant people. And I know someone had doubted my education, and that really, really got to me.
Yeah, so I disagree with that. I don't think anybody doubted your education. I feel like once you put out a blog, they were like, look at how well spoken she is. People you don't need. Listen, I'm an overachiever because I want to be taken seriously, because do you know what I'm saying? I don't have that well-spokenness about me. I know a lot about my specific job. And just to relate to what you said, I've been doing my job for 6 years for two different companies. I left one company and went to another one. They enthusiastically were like, "Yes," and I am a property adjuster, so our listeners know. I can tell you all about your homeowner's policy, your renter's policy, your all of that. Every single day, I go into work and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. They're going to fire me at any point. They're
Yeah.
going to fire me. And I've
Or,
been doing it for 6 years.
and this is how I felt like, oh, they can't afford to fire me because we're short staffed. It's this really fast project. They need me, but it's like they can't wait to get rid of me kind of feeling. I was like, well, or I'm just here because it's like I'm just filling a space or whatnot. However, I will say something that made me feel really good is when we launched
Website.
the website. I always say podcast. Then we
Yeah.
launched the website in the fall, and then the old over senior editor for the whole thing the former website as we transitioned to the new website, he sent out this really, really lovely, sweet, touching email thanking everyone for their hard work. And he named a few people by name on the web modernization team.
And you were on that.
I was on it by
Yeah.
name, and then also, and like, and everyone else on the web modernization team.
I know that's right.
And I was like, this is not some podunk guy in the agency. He's like the webmaster. And it's because of my communications, because I have a very visible role of, I mean, God, 6 weeks into my job, starting my job, I did an agency-wide town hall that I facilitated and hosted.
No thanks.
Yeah. So it was just like, so from the beginning, everyone sees me, I make learning resources, they see my face when they learn about the project. And so I have a very visible role. And so it felt really good to then be able to say, my work is been recognized and they don't see the struggle. And I can start leaning into, if they're believing in me, I can believe in myself too.
Honestly, the fact that he included your name specifically in the email, that should have told you, all right, I don't need to doubt myself no more. Like, they obviously think I'm doing a really good job. I should just show up knowing I'm doing a good job.
And I took a screenshot of, I took a screenshot of that email, and I have this file on my desktop computer. It says, well done, Rachel.
Good.
Someone everyone gives me a little kudos in a Teams message. Thank you so much. It's like, I'm going to screenshot that and put it away. So for when I do have a bad day, I can go back in and look at those things and say,
yeah,
it's just one bad day. It's just one bad feeling. You're okay. Yeah. So
I love that. I love that story. It's so funny that you tell the way you told that story, because I actually had a meeting with my boss today, and like I go into the meeting and I clearly look forlorn. Like, I am going to get fired. You're going to fire me today, right?
If we talk, as soon as my manager, he's like, hey, can we talk? I'm like, oh God, what's happening? He's like,
What do I do?
Will you please sign your time card? I'm like, okay.
Okay. Yeah, dude, it's so bad. We're so in this like self-doubt like mindset. It's ridiculous. Like, I go into the meeting, I look forlorn, and he's like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, not great. I don't know how to do my job. He starts laughing, and he's like, that's really funny, because we got a survey back with a compliment, basically telling us that you were not only extremely helpful in getting this claim process, but you made it very easy for them. And the reason why they're referring their friends to our company is because of their experience with you, because they've had previous experiences where it wasn't good, and they had this experience with you and they love you now. And I was just like, and they like, he read and like, after that, I was like, okay, maybe I do know how to do my job.
Yeah.
But I don't. Every day I wake up and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. And again, maybe it's okay that I didn't know what I was doing, because it had never been done before. There was no one to show me the ropes. There's no one to show me to transition out of this position to say, hey, we're going to get someone else. Like, hey, we're going to get someone else to do this job. Because this person is moving up or what have you. It was like, we need somebody, so let's go create this position. And I was like, okay, is this right? I don't know. I didn't know how to use Microsoft Teams.
Oh, you were in
because I used Google, like I just didn't know, because I had used Google for all my private clients and stuff. So it's like, it was brand new software. It was,
you hadn't done the corporate thing yet.
Handbook of saying, this is the way to do it. And I'm dealing with, I don't know how many, like a dozen and a half NASA centers, like
you're dealing with all of the geniuses. And also, thank God you're the world's best Googler.
Yeah.
There's that.
I was like, literally,
know how to use this.
What is it? It's like Confessions of a Shopaholic, where she's like, what is finance? Or whatever. It was just like, how do I be a communication specialist?
Yeah.
I was a blog writer.
Yeah.
How do I how do I create a community of all these separate, things, like some people, JPL, very active in building their web pages. other NASA centers, they're like, we'll get to it when we get to it. I have no idea. And then it's not just NASA centers, and then it's their mission directorates,
Oh
like the
God.
missions, you
Oh my
know.
God. You have such an important job. I think my favorite thing about being with you, by the way, I don't know if we've ever talked about this, was the fact that every single time you took a meeting or did a meeting,
Mhm.
it was just all women. It was
Yeah.
just all women. And that's
Yeah.
just a side note. That's just me being tangential.
Hmm.
And so, like, first of all, I'm very proud of you, best
Thank
friend.
you. Thank you.
Very, very proud
I'm
of you.
proud of me too.
You should never feel insecure or anxiety or anything like that about doing this job, because not only are you extremely well spoken, you are educated in, you have how many certifications? First of all, that's its own education. And then you're extremely well spoken. So I am so glad that that anxiety has left the building,
Left the building.
2024, and we're moving forward full steam ahead. And the next project for you, quite frankly, is to write your SOP so they can't hire you because you wrote the standard operation
Yeah.
procedures.
And
Girl.
I make all the learning resources whenever we make something new for the website that the content creators can make. It's like they hear my voice, they see my face. I teach them how to do things. And so now, as I always in my list of kudos, or I also have a Word doc that's like things I know how to do or things that I've done. So
Yeah.
I can always update my resume. It's like facilitated agency wide town halls,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
do these. I've created this many more people are in the Teams community. I've made this many learning resources. I've
Yeah.
made XYZ. So I do also keep a running tally of the things that I accomplish or the things that I have learned or know how to do now, that when I take it to the next project or the next level up, because I think people or women, we just are like, oh no, I don't do that well at my job, or we're always suffering with
We do that.
imposter syndrome, that I can go back and say, I did that. I did that. I
So,
do it to remind myself of like how much I've grown, but also to say, this is what I've accomplished, XYZ. These are hard facts,
yeah.
you know,
But why do we do that as women? Why do we do that?
because I think
Why do
we've been like socialized to play small, to say, or
we
small is safe,
fuck
or
that?
have you. That's why I was like, sorry,
Fuck that.
sorry, not sorry, listeners, but I will say I work on a NASA contract every chance I get. And for our visual listeners, I'm literally wearing a NASA beanie right now. Like I have so much NASA stuff
I guess.
around. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be great. I really
Yeah.
lean into it. Yeah.
Well,
I'm
I love
obnoxious.
that.
What's
I
that?
love that. I'm
Yeah.
glad that you don't have any more of that anxiety. Hopefully I can pick some of that up from you. My
Are
I
you
don't
ready
know
for
how.
yours?
I don't Well, here's the thing, is that piggybacking off of what you're saying, is I don't know if I can let go of the anxiety from my job, because my job is a volatile industry. It's insurance. It is what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to build off of that, I am leaving behind the fear of the unknown and
Mm-hmm.
my own self-doubt. Because here's the thing, like, that anxiety really comes from, I think personally, that I have a little bit of PTSD from the big 2008 crash. So in 2008, I was working for a very fancy schmancy 5-star, 5-diamond resort. We're talking old money. This resort was built on an island. The original resort was 100% built by slaves.
Yeah, I
And
haven't worked at a 5-star 5-diamond resort like that, but I have worked at a 5-star 5-diamond resort.
well,
I
the
know
only
what
kind
it's
of
like.
hotels I've ever worked at are 5-star, 5-diamond, and this one was in the South. So we're talking old money. We're talking, and when I say old money, I mean antebellum old money.
Pre-Civil
That
War
type of,
money.
yeah, Rockefeller money,
Mm.
Rothschild money, that level. Okay. And in 2008, I had worked there for 2 years, and I had worked my way up to be an assistant to the director of sales. And I got caught up and I was so comfy in my job. And like, I was young, right? I was like 22.
28 in 2008.
I don't know. How old was I in 2008.
Well,
23. I had little kids.
You were like 25.
Whatever.
That's okay. We're still very young. I'm just saying.
First of all, I am 27 if you're seeing me on camera.
You're definitely not 40 wonderful.
Well, I wasn't. I couldn't have. Was I 27? 25.
Yeah, 25.
24, 25.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very young.
I had a 3-year-old for sure. For sure. I had a 3-year-old in 2008. So, and a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old, almost 8. They laid everybody off, like half of the hotel in 2008 because the housing crash.
Yeah, it was the Great Recession.
The Great Recession, which didn't make any fucking sense to me, since the people going to this resort
could still go to the resort.
Well, yeah, they could still go to resorts.
Yeah, because they have generational money.
Membership to go to this resort on a regular basis, and the membership was $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
Why were they laying people off? First of all, this is what I got to say to that resort.
Double middle fingers. She's going
double middle finger.
Double bird. Mm-hmm.
Double bird. Fuck you. Anyways, they laid off a bunch of people, like half of the resort, and it just didn't make any sense to me. But I was traumatized from this. That is when I had just gotten a divorce from my first husband, and they laid everybody off. I had to go on food stamps. That's when I did that. I had to go on unemployment. I had to go, like, I had all of the social programs I had to go on immediately. And I think I have PTSD from the fear of the unknown because of that. So I always feel like I'm on edge. Like I said earlier, like I constantly feel like I don't know what I'm doing in my job. So I like try to overcompensate in my education. I overcompensate in what I'm doing. And I'm always like, every single time my manager calls me for a meeting, or I have a meeting with my manager, I'm always like, okay, just tell me, you're going to fire me, right? You're firing me today. And they always have the same reaction. Like, what are you even talking about? We're not why?
Yeah.
What? Because they do fire, they will fire adjusters if you're not doing your job.
Yeah.
You know? Because if you're not doing your job, people's claims aren't getting processed. And people, when you have a claim, your life is flipped upside down. Right? Just imagine like your pipe bursts because it froze and there's a waterfall in your house, and the process that it takes to get over that. That's literally what I do. I get people through that process. Okay. Yeah, dude, it's a lot of pressure. So I'm constantly like, even though I have all of these, I have licenses in all the states that require licenses. And I think it's like 40 states.
Yeah.
Out of 50. How many are there? 50?
50.
So out of 50 states, I have all the 40 required licenses. I have all of the education that we need. And like, it doesn't make sense for me to be afraid, because I have these licenses. I can take these wherever I want. I work for a very small carrier right now, but it's not the only carrier that exists.
Yeah.
There are multiple insurance carriers. And the thing is because I'm licensed the way I am, I can do vehicle claims. I can do catastrophic loss claims. I can do commercial. I literally inland marine. I can do anything. I can do any of these things.
Yeah.
Why am I so afraid? So in 2024, I'm leaving behind fear of the unknown. I'm leaving it behind. I'm so fucking tired of feeling afraid all the time. And it's not even anxiety. It is straight up fear, because I went through 2008 and that was such a struggle. But the thing is that that's not the only time I've been fucking fired. And every single time I've been just fine.
Yeah, we find a way.
We do. And every single time I've had 2 kids
Yeah.
and I've been fine. And now it's just me and my fucking cat. Why am I so afraid? Why? It doesn't make any sense. So I'm leaving that behind.
Yeah.
And the second one is a big thing for me. And I know that it's going to be conscious work, but self-doubt has really stopped me from doing things. And one thing, I'm feeling, that tingly feeling what you get when you feel like you're going to cry. I'm getting it already. About it. I know. And you know me, I'm a crier. I might be a goth mommy, but I am a crier. I have always been so doubtful in my own abilities, my own mind stops me from doing what I've always wanted to do. And one of the things I've always wanted to do is not work for anybody else. And I'm over here afraid of getting fired, right? But I don't want to work for anybody else. I want to work for myself. I've always wanted to start a business. And because of my best friend,
Me?
I know that's right.
Yeah.
And like, you put things into perspective for me. Like, you're right. Having a job and working for somebody else is not stable because they can tell you at any point you're not needed anymore.
Yeah.
But because we have our business and because I work for us, there is no being afraid of being fired. It's just me like, how much work do I need to do in order to ensure that we get to the next step in our process? How much work do I need? How much time do I need to put forward to ensure that we get to our next MVP, our big goal?
Minimum viable product.
There's no fear in that. And like, the thing about self-doubt is I've already learned the lesson that self-doubt stops you and inhibits you from doing the big things that you really want to do. And I have a good story about that. I have been an actor for a very long time, actor, model, all of that stuff. I've done all of it. And the thing that's always stopped me from giving everything in an audition, and for who gives a fuck about what you think about how I perceive this character, this is exactly how I'm going to perceive this character, and this is what I'm presenting. And if you want to hire me, great. This is the person you were looking for the entire time. That's the mindset I should have had the entire time I've been auditioning. But instead, I've just doubted myself and been auditioning the way I think they want to hear it.
That's exactly what I was struggling with. It's like, well, what do you want? It's like, well, we're looking to your expertise.
Right.
You're the subject matter expert. You show us what you can do. And I was like, but what do you guys want?
And we got to stop thinking about that. We got to do things the way we think they need to be done.
That work
when
for
it comes
us.
that work for us in order to like achieve the things that we want. And like, so I had been auditioning for shows. I had been auditioning for commercials for years. And it wasn't until I said, fuck it, I'm going to do this audition exactly the way I think they want it. Or not that I'm going to do the audition exactly the way I think it should be.
You get fed up and you're like, I got nothing to fucking lose.
I got nothing. And here's the thing. When you go to auditions as an actor, you don't have anything to lose. You didn't have the job in the first place.
What are they going to do? Not hire me? I already don't.
Are they going to fire me? That's when you get like nervous, is like after you got the job, right? Like how they can't fire me from something. They can't tell all they can do is tell me you're not what we're looking for. And that is fine. Because at some point you're going to be what they're looking for. So I went into this national commercial and I was just like in my brain, I was on my way to the commercial, just like giggling to myself, like, I'm probably going to get this and I'm not even going to try. Because I went and I just did it the way I thought it should have been done. And bitch, I got that fucking commercial. And then because of that audition, I got a follow-up commercial. So I got 2 commercials, 2 paid national commercials out of one audition because I stopped doubting myself
Mm-hmm.
and I just let it go.
Or looking to them for validation, like, right?
Yes,
Right? No,
that part.
this is right. This
This
is
is
what I,
right.
yeah.
And I think it was the confidence in knowing that this is right that sold it. To be honest, that sold the character, that sold my performance. And it makes me a little bit mad because self-doubt has stopped me for a lot of things. A lot of things. It stopped me from auditioning for Juilliard because I didn't think I was worth it. I didn't think I was good enough. There was a New York School of Performing Arts that asked me to come and audition, and I didn't do it because I felt self-doubt. And I'm so, so done with it. And I know that, like, now when I feel that fear in my gut,
Mm-hmm.
my trick now is that's not fear, that's excitement.
Yeah.
Period. Go do it.
Yeah. And I'll meet you where you're at when it comes to self-doubt, because I've said it before and I will say it again. Like, I wanted to be a life coach for 5 years, but I was always like, who would want to hear what I had to say about things? I like 2 years ago, I was like, oh, I should start a podcast or whatever. And it's like, who would want to fucking listen to what I have to say?
We
And
have
I took
listeners.
myself out of it. Yeah. Who love us and we love them.
And yeah.
And I'm just being myself, my badass self, but again, it's because of you that it's like, okay, if we really want to do this, I think me being a life coach would bring more gravitas or legitimacy or whatever to what I have. So I was like, I'm going to go do that and I'm going to pay. I'm not going to talk myself out of the price. I'm just like, I'm going to go do what I want to do because I'm taking this business seriously. I'm taking this podcast seriously. I'm taking life coaching seriously. It's like, if I want to do, like, I have to be the person that I say that I am, that people will want to come and get life coaching by.
Yeah.
Just like it's like what we're leaving behind in 2023. Stop talking yourself out of it.
Stop, seriously, stop being afraid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Stop feeling like that anxiety is telling you something. Stop it. Don't
Mm-hmm.
be afraid of it. Don't doubt yourself. I actually made a TikTok about it. I know that some of our listeners are my TikTok followers. They
Mm-hmm.
follow the podcast, they follow me, they follow you. And I know that they've seen it. 41. I'm leaving behind fear. 40 wonderful. My bad, Rachel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Sorry.
there you go. 40 wonderful.
40 wonderful. I am leaving behind fear and self-doubt. I will never, ever again doubt myself. If my gut says move to New York City and start auditioning, I'm moving to New York City and I'm going to start auditioning. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't. I'll figure it out because you know what? I always have. Things have always worked out and things are going to work out. And like, I feel that in my gut so much that I feel like I'm getting emotional and I'm getting chills.
Mm-hmm.
Are going to work out.
Yeah.
We are to accomplish our goals. This was the right move. We are releasing those energies that do not serve us. And we're putting towards, we're looking towards the future with new energies of excitement, pride. What else? What's another good word?
Yeah. And I say anticipation, but not anxiety. And I just think of all the mental hours I have wasted in worrying, in anxiety,
Yes.
like, and just like it got me nowhere, you know? So now it's like, I'm not going to waste that mental energy anymore
Anymore?
because I have got better places to put that energy.
No, now it's, you know what, honestly, here's my mindset. It's time to be delusional. It's time to believe in myself
Mm-hmm.
so much that maybe other people think I'm delusional.
I'm not
And
delusional. I'm
that's
right.
fine. That's fine. You can think I'm delusional, but I know I'm right. I know I'm doing the right thing. I know there's nothing I should be afraid of or anxious about or feel self-doubt about. Not a goddamn thing, because you know what? When I drop it, I am successful.
Exactly. Exactly. I love it. Oh, excellent. Oh, whiskey bent portion.
I know. Let me
Look
have a
at
look.
us. Look at us.
Look at it. Would you
Look at
look
us.
at us?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
I know back in English class when you're writing all over my notebook, I was like, who would have thought?
It's so funny how the world works. You're part of
I
my
love it.
golden thread.
I sure am. I
You
sure
sure
am.
are.
I loved you the entire time.
Loved you back the entire time. The whole
The
time.
whole time. Are
The
you
whole
are you are you ready for some spellbounding?
I have
I see
I
the
have
shuffle.
knocked. I have knocked. I have pulled.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
We're coming to the end of a cycle. We talked about this, right?
Mhm.
We're coming to the end of a cycle, a karmic cycle for Pluto, and all of the cardinal signs have been affected for the past 15 years. And earlier I said I got laid off in 2008, and that's when it started.
Oh, is this when Pluto moved into Capricorn?
Yep.
Because we were talking about this off show. And
Yes.
I was like, and then of course I went into like Pluto hasn't
Did
even
you
gone through a Pluto year yet. Like I just went on the science of like Pluto's fucking orbit.
NASA the hell out of
I
that?
did
And I
NASA that, and she's like, "This isn't the point of what I'm saying, Rachel." I was like, "I'm sorry."
it doesn't matter. I want the t-shirt. What does the t-shirt say again? I know that
Oh,
I want the t-shirt. Something about Pluto.
oh, it says your mom thought I was big enough, Pluto.
That's the one I
It says, "Hey NASA, your mom thought I was big enough." Because it was downgraded to a dwarf planet. I cannot explain what's the difference between a planet and a dwarf planet. I just know that Pluto has not made an entire orbit around the sun. It has not even been a Pluto year since it was discovered to when it was demoted. So either way, hey NASA, your mom thought I was big enough. I was like, that's a shirt at the Johnson Space Center gift shop.
I wish I got that. I've
NASA
been to the
licensed.
Joss.
I didn't know you that. Well, I knew you, but I wasn't like
Yeah, but
with
you
aliens.
didn't know me to the point where you would buy me stuff and send it to me. Now we're on that level.
For my brother-in-law, I did get him the shirt that says Uranus, the original gas giant. Uranus, the original gas giant. What a
Uranus.
great dad shirt.
That
I
is
love
the
when I go over for
yeah.
family dinner and he's wearing that. I was like, ha ha.
That's so satisfying.
It really is. I was like, excellent, excellent. If I ever come across the Pluto shirt, I will definitely pick it up for you.
For the love of God, if I don't have that shirt in my life,
I think we
oh,
didn't, as a collective society, we didn't know how much we loved Pluto until we couldn't have Pluto anymore. And it's just floating out there in space, like not doing anything anymore. I was like, oh,
minding its own business, and we love and miss it.
I know. It's like, it's not invited to the party anymore, but it's just like hanging out on, it's orbiting. I still don't get why it's not a planet. Anyways, I'll do some research. We'll have a fact check. Somebody write in and explain to me why Pluto isn't. Do you know how you read explanations about things, but you don't quite comprehend them yet? You're like, that does not satisfy my thirst for knowledge.
That's actually for
I
me at this point. Like I've read so much, I've
don't
forgotten
quite
a lot. Like
get it
I don't
yet.
know.
Yeah.
I have to
I
read
know it's
things two,
not.
three times.
I know it's not, but what is it? It's not just an asteroid out there. Sorry, guys. We get into the science talk.
Sciency.
Science here. Are you ready for the 3-card pull?
I am.
I'm so
Hold on.
excited. It's going to be good because
I'm looking.
I feel like on those shows where we're very vulnerable and we
Yeah.
are very honest about where we are and how we feel, it's just like, ooh, the spirits really come through and like
They're like, hey,
I feel
it's
connected to the reading on those shows.
gonna be fine.
It's gonna be fine.
All right. So the very first.
Mm-hmm.
"Whoa, you weren't wrong. You weren't wrong. You're not wrong." And that's like, oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Oh, I'm so
I've been
excited.
very vulnerable about like what we're leaving back in 2024. So the first one is the Hierophant. This is one we haven't gotten yet. First of all, look at how beautiful this
What is
card
it
is.
called?
The Black Tarot. This is called the Hierophant. Hierophant.
Hierophant. I've never even heard that word before.
I've never pulled this card before, which is
No.
super fun.
Brand new information. Sock it to me.
The Hierophant represents wisdom attained through scholarship and exploring the world. So it's really like about wisdom, about knowing stuff. And we talked about how we're a little bit insecure, a little bit anxious about the things that we know. Okay. It's about wisdom, authority, knowledge, the figure whose head is bursting with so much knowledge, that he has to use both hands to contain the wisdom
Oh my God.
so that he can fully process what he has learned, so that he can share it. Wisdom, authority, knowledge, doctrine, and advice. We have the I know we have the experience. Why the
My
fuck?
cheeks hurt from smiling so much.
I know.
I'm like, what is happening right now?
Spirit.
Mm-hmm. I got
The
chills.
second one is a chariot. A warrior rides a chariot across an uneven terrain pulled by the black and white stallions. They traverse the landscape going over higher and undaunted by the challenges. It represents victory and willpower, intensity, and drive. We know we have the knowledge. We are experienced. We know what we're talking about. Why would we be doubtful? Because we have the willpower and we have like the intense drive to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
The final one is oh, I lost my page. The Three of Wands.
Oh.
Oh, I held it upside down. My bad. The Three of Wands.
Okay.
The path is clear. You need to invest your time and energy to succeed. It just means adventure and optimism. The three staffs mark the safe passage across the desert sands, bitch, to your goal. To your goal.
Say safe passage to your, I'm taking notes.
The safe passage to your goal, which is so
Holy
interesting that
shit.
the card before, holy shit, the card before that is the chariot. The card before that is knowledge. No, we have all of the knowledge. Let's get in it. Let's get in this chariot and cross the desert because the goal is right there and the path is marked. There is zero. We don't need to be doubtful. We don't need to be anxious. We don't need to be afraid because our car is waiting. Our goals are waiting. Let's go.
It's like wisdom through experiences, undaunted by challenge, and safe passage to your goal. I have chills. Oh,
I have chills all over.
yes.
Chills all over. I love when the cards do that. I love when the cards acknowledge everything that we've been talking about, especially when we're super passionate about it.
Yes.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this year. I've always been like going into the new year. I have always been the person who's like, you know what my resolution is? To not have a resolution. I'm not changing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this year I'm like, nah, fuck that. I'm changing. I'm going to change this about me because I know at the end of the year, that girl wants me to change this, and that about me so that I can meet her. You and me in December 2024, we're waiting.
Yeah.
Our goals have been accomplished and our listeners need to know whoever you want to be in December 2024, that person is waiting for you. They've already accomplished those goals. Don't be afraid. Don't be anxious. Don't doubt yourself. Just go do it. It will work out. Do it afraid.
Yes.
Do it afraid.
Do it afraid. Do it scared.
Do it scared. I'm so excited.
Oh, you don't usually get this hyped on the shows.
I'm hyped because you know what? I've been thinking about my goals and I've been thinking about how excited I am to meet 2024 Jaki. And I just, in my heart, I know I am getting emotional. I know she's waiting for me. And I know that Rachael 2024 December is waiting for you. And I know all my friends, their goals are waiting for them. And all you have to do is just Forget fear. It's excitement. Do it afraid.
Do it afraid.
Do it afraid.
Do it afraid. You're still going to do it. Do it afraid.
Do it.
Here's what I always say. We are allowed to be afraid.
Yep.
We are not allowed to be cowards.
I know that's goddamn, Rachel. Yes.
We are allowed to be
What does my shirt
afraid.
say?
We are not allowed to be cowards. And Jackie's shirt says, do not fucking quit.
Do not fucking quit.
Do not fucking quit. Oh, Jackie. Fuck yes.
Rachel. Fuck
Clinkies?
yes.
I'm going to do a clinkies. Clinkies to you. Let's have a drink. Oh. What a great spellbounding section of the Whiskey Bent and Spellbound podcast. I want to leave it there. We're going to leave it there.
Do too.
But listeners, please join us on the after show on our Patreon, where we will be talking about the chisme of, it'll be fun. It is the names that we have given the men we've dated, all the nicknames. It was like red shirt guy, blah, blah, blah. So all the nicknames we're going to compare and contrast. And then also, what are the names that they've given us and what do we think they've given us? So we have some factual feedback from former flames on what we have been called. So we'll be sharing that on This Is a Real on our Patreon. Link is in the show notes below. Thank you so much for tuning into another fabulous episode of Whiskey Bent and
Spellbound with Black
and Whitefield. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.